Howdy, Possum Patty here, and today I was journaling. I'm working on my Gnomes Nature journal that I'm making from this book about gnomes and using this Reader's Digest book as the cover. I'm going to alter the spine, but I'm going to leave this little chipmunk because I really like the little gold chipmunk. I have two signatures in here, and the first one is about spring and summer, and the second one is going to be winter and fall. So today I was working on the spring and summer, and I did a few pages I'm going to share with you now. The first page I worked on was this really pretty springy page of the little gnome on his swing. And this was an easy page. I just cut out the illustration and straight stitched it on with my sewing machine. I punched a thumb hole and made a journaling card. I took these plant pictures from the book, and this is from a page on how the gnomes use plants to cure their illnesses. So it says illness and remedies. And I have a few more cards that I'm going to make out of these plant remedies. I thought they were really cute. So I put the title on this side, and I added a strip of yellow polka dot ribbon, and I just splashed some watercolors on the journaling card. The second page I worked on was this lady gnome, and the book says their daily dress is of camouflage colors, for protection, of course. So I cut her out and I put her on this camouflage green page. I made her into a tuck, and then I made a little notebook that goes in the tuck, like so. I put a picture of a little gnome from the book on the cover and one on the back. And I dyed the papers with watercolor and just sewed them in with a straight stitch. I had a little bit of this green splashy paper left, so I added a strip on the front and the back. I love to do little details like that, like adding the strip that matches the cover and dyeing the pages green to match the rest of the page. So that was a lot of fun making that little notebook. And the next page that I worked on was really a double spread in the center of the signature. The first thing I did was to make this fold out. I really like this summer page, dark greens of summer, a little gnome in his garden. And to add this fold out picture to the page, I straight stitched it along this fold and this fold over here. I made two journaling cards, and I made them with a triangle point. I put the flowers on one side, and I made a little journaling card on the other side. And this is another detail that I like to do. I drew the lines with this sparkly orange pen after I put some watercolors on the paper. And then the flowers match the flowers that are on the picture. And the same thing with the second card. It has that triangle shape to fit in here. It matches the flower that's on the page here. And again, I used some yellow and orangey watercolors and drew the lines for journaling with a sparkly pen. I have these hanging out a little bit like little tabs. So when you fold this up, I made this little altered paper clip. I have blue stripes on the back. In the front, I have a picture of blueberries that matches the blueberries on this picture over here. That's on the back side of the fold-out picture. And then I put just a little bit of lace and a blue button. And this is to hold this closed. And if I do it right, it goes right in the middle, like that, between the two journaling cards. On the opposite page, I use some more of the picture from the blueberry page, that has a little bird, looks like a wren, sitting on a log and some blueberries. And on the background, I did some journaling lines, and I used two different colors. I used a dark brown and a reddish brown all the way down the page. And then in the pocket, I made these cards, and I wanted to do some round cards. And on the front of the cards, I took some illustrations from this book from 1877 called Wood's Illustrated Plant Record. And it doesn't have a lot of pictures in it. Mostly it's just a place for you to record what plants you've seen. And the paper is very, very brittle. So I used the Mod Podge to glue it down to some cardstock. And then I put 3 coats of Mod Podge on top of it just because the paper was so brittle. And I made them 3 different sizes. On the back, I used some old blue stationery that I found down the basement. I drew lines. Again, I used this blue sparkly pen to draw the lines. And then I used some blue acrylic paint to go around the edge. I put on a blue ribbon, and in between, I put some little blue beads. Again, because I like to do tiny details. So in between each page, there's a tiny blue bead. And a big blue bead on the front. And a little blue bow. And I used my crocodile to put on the little grommets there. And that goes in the page. And those are the pages that I worked on today. And what I'm working on right now, this moment, is a tiny, tiny, tiny journal. I know I made 3 mini journals out of Vera Bradley bags, but what I want to do is make a tiny, 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 to put little tiny, tiny scraps in that I have left over when I'm making the other journals, because I'm in the middle of working on several journals right now. And I always wind up with little bits of scraps and pieces. I have little material pieces, and then I have these just little pieces like this. So I want to make a little tiny, tiny journal to put these little bitty scraps in. Now I saw Linda over at Linda's Mixed Up Mess putting some stuff in her little tiny mini journal, and I just thought it was so cute. I had to make one. So last night I made some spaghetti, and the spaghetti box has got a cute little window in it. And I found these little tiny cards down the basement. Isn't that cute? And I'm going to make probably 2 little signatures. I'm going to put this on the first page so you can see the little flowers through the window. But before I start making the signatures, I'm probably going to gesso this cardboard or cover it with something. But I'll be working on that tonight, and I'll share with you tomorrow how far I got along on this particular project. And again, this is just a little side project because I'm working on several big journals. And I just wanted a fun little place to stick the tiny, tiny little scraps. So thanks for coming along this evening. Happy journaling. Bye-bye now.